त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौली स्फुरत् तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमां मीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यामलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीं घटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् परामम्बिकाम् सततज्वर विषमज्वर ग्रह नक्षत्र दोषाञ्चान्या हर हर काली सर सर गौरी क्रमधम विद्ये आले माले काले बन्धे भज भज विद्ये मख मख विद्ये नाशय नाशय पापम् हर हर दुःस्वप्नं विध्वंसय विध्वंसय
Namaste, dear friends. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to each one of you again on this global festival of yoga. We are on our 18th day. Can't believe how the days are going by so soon. But it's wonderful to have your company for all these days. We've had very interesting presenters, different kinds, covering different domains. Yesterday we had a wonderful one by Padma Shri Umakant Gundecha ji, and he spoke of the relationship, the Nada Yoga, the sadhana between of Dhrupad, the sound, the music of Dhrupad. So those of you who were unable to listen to it, please make sure that you are listening to that particular video. This morning, we have a very special person with us. we have with us Rahila Sujatha Santhanam ji. Rahi ji, I request you to please come on screen. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
So the day is actually a very, we have planned today in a very special manner because we have conceived of a certain theme for the day. We are going to be starting with Rahiji, who is going to talk to us on yoga, a practice to discover unity. And this practice is going to sow the seeds for the rest of the events that will follow today. The theme being human unity, and we're going to be seeing that human unity expressed through different yoga experts in different manners across the events today. So we have Rahiji with us today, and Rahiji has a very interesting background at the sweet age of 16, when when youngsters are busy with other activities of life and trying to find their own person. Rahiji found her calling in yoga, and she is today a practicing yoga therapist, psychologist, and a wellness consultant by profession. At the age of 16, she started her yoga journey at the Vivekananda Kendra in Kanyakumari. She went on to do her pre-doctorate research work and her teacher training from the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram under the guidance of Sri Desikachar. In her capacity as a psychologist and yoga therapist, she has worked and created therapy modalities for differently abled children. She has focused on working with women, sports people, dancers in the army and in the army milieu for the soldiers, their wives, etc. She has focused on, she has traveled extensively and is involved in training yoga teachers at home and abroad through talks, workshops, and yoga teacher training programs. Rahiji travels extensively also in the African region, the Turkey and those parts of the world as well, the US. So she has a wide following, and we're sincerely hoping that all the students from across the world will be joining us on this session by her today. She's involved in bringing people together through being an integral part of the eco-spiritual tourism. And I would just like to add a personal note in this 4-decade journey of hers in the field of yoga. Our connection, personal connection, goes back to at least 2 decades, where Rahiji's husband and my father served together in the army. So we found each other very coincidentally, and it was a joyful experience of reunion in a sense. So I invite Rahiji to please lead us through a session which will involve a short talk followed by a practice that will help us to connect to our deeper self and discover the unity that we share with others, other human and non-human species. So with these few words, Rahiji, very warm and hearty welcome to you. It's an absolute personal privilege for me that you accepted to do this for us today. Thank you. And a question and a small note for the audience. If you have any questions, please make sure that you're putting it in the Q&A section. So with these few words, Rahiji, over to you.
Namaskar, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you, Anuradha, for this warm welcome. I feel very privileged and honored to be taking a session on the Indica Yoga platform, which is doing such a wonderful job of bringing up the gems that is there in the treasure of Sanatana Dharma. So blessings for this continued journey. As Anuradha said, that we do go back to some wonderful times and spaces in our journey. She came up with a topic that, Rahiji, I want you to do something on yoga, the practice as a unity, because so many years you have been in this space. So the topic was very interesting to me, and I would like to give a little talk about why this is so interesting and so relevant in today's world scenario. And then maybe a very, very simple practice to make us experience that sense of unity that yoga keeps talking about all the time. So if you look at yoga, there is this great, wonderful philosophy whose ultimate goal is to experience the consciousness as unifying force that is there in all of us, but which we are not able to see because of the dance of our mind. So we have this codification by Patanjali Maharishi, where he brings this philosophy into such a practical, pragmatic use, so that it is not just something that we discuss in our head, but is something that we feel and we experience in our body, and we understand what is this that we're talking about, the sense of unity, the sense of oneness. If you look at today's world, all that you see here discusses about the strife, the chaos, the confusion, the anger that is spilling out among individuals, among the nations. And it suddenly looks like the human being does not know any other space but that of this kind of dukkha that we're all experiencing. And I'm not even going into what COVID is doing to all of us. Just this is big enough. So in this space, it is so relevant that we have a practice that will help us connect the fragmented aspects of ourselves on a daily basis and bring us into the space of unity, of understanding within ourselves what this space of unity is all about. Because there is this dictum, as within, so outside. So unless we feel this unity within us, there is no way that we are going to see it outside of us. So Patanjali gave us this pragmatic tool called Ashtanga Yoga. And I know all of you have heard about the aspects of yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, through so many wonderful speakers who have preceded me. And I will just briefly go into it. Ashtanga Yoga, of course, is called the 8 limbs of yoga, which involves the yam, niyam, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Now, if you look at these 8 limbs, the first 4 are called the Bahiranga Yoga, or that connection that we as beings establish externally to ourselves and to the outside world. So that would include the tenets of yam and niyam, and then the asana part of it and the pranayama part of it. And then something very dramatic happens from something that we are dealing in our relationship with the external world. We suddenly move into the inner space, more deeper, closer to ourselves, intimacy with ourselves. And that aspect of Ashtanga Yoga is called Antaranga Yoga. So what does Antaranga Yoga involve? It involves Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So all this sounds fantastic when you hear about it, when your teachers or colleagues as a body of knowledge. But Patanjali is very clear that yoga is not just a body of knowledge, it is a lived experience. So it implies that in our daily sadhana, we need to have a practice session that is holistic, that involves all these aspects of yoga. It's because only when all these aspects, these limbs come together, can we experience the unity that Patanjali talks about. Of course, he gives it so many names, Samadhi, then we talk about Nirvana, Moksha, of course, ultimately Kaivalya. But let us get practical and pragmatic and see how it plays itself out in our daily life so that we become that much better, that much inclusive, that much responsive to the world rather than being reactive and divisive. When we start a practice, from the time that we roll the mat to the time we finish our chant, maybe at the end of our session, the yam and niyam keep playing itself out. How many of you are familiar with this scenario where, especially if you're in group class, you're on your mat, lying down, trying to get into the space. You come from a very agitated traffic jam, and there you are. And you're just going into a sweet quietness, and suddenly, tak, one sound next to you. The person has come late, they throw their mat, And that is enough to create a state of conflict and himsa within you. We're all familiar with that. So whether it is a class in a group session or it is your personal space at home, right from the way you roll your mat out, decides how your practice will go. If there is a sense of sacredness to your practice, there will be a sense of connection and respect to that mat, because for the next 20 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever your practice session is, you are going to use that mat as the base on which you are going to unfold, going to understand who you are. So that is very, very important. Right from the mat, you start this whole practice of yam and niyam. Of course, I take it for granted when you start your practice, you have had your bath and you're there, and you don't come with the clouded mind. At least the day is not gotten to you yet. So you're still in a space of quietness, calmness, relative to maybe the rest of the day. And you're there and you're ready to do practice. So it is very important that when we move into asana, asana does not have to be complicated. Because at the end of the day, yoga is not about the complicated asana or the pranayama techniques we do. It is how we do whatever we do to reach that space of unity. How we are able, through our practice, to bring together the fragmented aspects of ourselves so that they come into ourselves and come into a flow of the experience of unity happening within you. So in a practice, when we are in the whole practice, it's not that yama and niyama are done and then you sit down. No. In your whole practice, ahimsa will play out, satya will play out, ashtaya will play out, aparigraha will play out, brahmacharya will play out in your practice. When I talk about ashtaya, it's aparigraha, it's very interesting that the word aparigraha is generally, translated as living with a minimum, whatever, the minimum that you need in order for something to happen nicely. And I always say in classes, along with the mat and yourself, we also bring our bolsters, we bring cushions, we bring shawls, we bring water bottles, we bring a backrest. So it's like, along with the practice, the whole household is coming into that space. And that definitely is not aparigraha. So yoga teaches you that beginning with your mat, you're full unto yourself. You don't need anything else unless there is a therapy reason, some reason why you need the help of these accessories, right? So yama and niyama play themselves out as you go into your practice. So when you go into your asana practice, whatever is the asana practice of the day, it is very important to understand that you can't have the same practice every day. Every day when you wake up from sleep, you're a different person. The weather may have changed outside, and since we are all made of the same 5 elements as the rest of the cosmos, we will find a change in ourselves too. For example, last night it rained in Bangalore and my throat is feeling a little uncomfortable. So now, today, I need to have a practice which will honor this condition. When we honor the condition and we do a practice which respects this thing, then we are into the space of ahimsa. Ahimsa starts with us. Ahimsa is not about non-killing, non-violence outside. It starts with us. It also plays itself out that when I'm doing my asana practice, am I allowing my mind to come in to tell me, no, push a little bit and you'll get there? Or do I wait patiently and allow my breath to lead me into that space with ease? So there is a little bit of tapas happening there. That ability to wait with patience and connect the body and the breath so that something deeper will happen naturally and easily is a wonderful aspect of ahimsa, which is playing itself out on your mat every day. And it's important to understand that whatever we do on a daily basis, that will become the default mode of functioning. Because at the end of the practice, there is a particular space that you're in. And if we can be in that space of unity day in and day out, it will become our signature tune. And we will exude that frequency of that unity, that inclusiveness, that calmness, that harmony, that peace, so that we can never be violent outside. We can never have a sense of separateness from somebody else because of their color or the religion they belong to or the status that they are in compared to us. We can never have that. So that is why it is so important to have a daily practice that will involve the whole aspect of yoga. Now, a very important thing that I learned, especially in Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, is this connecting the body movement with its corresponding breath. It's so subtle how conflict can happen in us. For example, if I am doing a posture that is opening my body out, it is natural for the body to ask for an inhale. If I'm closing the body, it is natural for the body to ask for an exhale. In an inhalation, I open and receive. In exhalation, I surrender and let go. So it's a very beautiful thing, because when the movement and the breath synchronize with one another, there is a kind of peace. There is no inner conflict. So you are flowing with that peace. And when you flow with that peace, you have anchored the mind in this simple act of the breath and the body movement coming together. Because when the breath and the body movement have to be synchronized, your mind can't be doing its monkey business jumping all around. It has to be here. Because breath is an external expression of your mind. So when you're focusing, when you're aware of your breath and you're taking the breath into your body movement, the mind is automatically with you. So what does happen when the mind is with you? The enormous energy that it utilizes to be always outward, jumping from this sensation to that sensation to that sensation, suddenly becomes available to you. So when that becomes available to you and you tune inward, that whole energy starts making you look at your inner landscape. You start going deeper. So pratyahara does that for you. So in the practice, you can connect to something. It could just be something as simple as a knee pain, or it can be as simple as doing some kind of emotional work, something that has been troubling you and you want to give your time and energy and take your awareness to that place. For that you need energy to take your awareness and to deal with something. It could be something like that, or you could have the idea of an Ishta Devata to whom you are surrendering and flowing through the practice. So when that connect happens to whatever, whether it's the knee pain or the emotion or the Ishta Devata, that point of connection becomes dharana in your practice. And when you stay in that dharana, you use the energy to deal with that, to unravel it and see it. There is a svadhyaya happening, and with the svadhyaya and the Ishvara Pranidhana, that you just surrender to the flow and to the learning that your breath and your body can give you, then what happens there is a deepening of dharana, which is dhyana or meditation. I would like to impress a point here that many of us feel that meditation is at the end of a practice when we work the body, when we worked with the breath, the pancha pranas are flowing well, our body is in stiram and sukham, and we can close our eyes and now we go into meditation, into ourselves. A yoga practice, when your breath and your body movement synchronize, your mind is anchored, is meditation in movement. Your very practice can be meditative in nature. See, you cannot do meditation. You can create condition for that aspect of deepening inner space to happen. So all these things that we are doing are getting into the space of meditation. So there is no doing meditation. It's doing other things to get into meditation. So a practice itself can be full unto itself. You do not have to sit specifically with your eyes closed and do meditation unless you feel that you want to do it. You are in it and you just are enjoying that experience of unity and expansion. And when this dhyana is in that space where you've dropped even the object of connect that happened in dharana, and you're just in that experience, we have the glimpses of samadhi, that unity, that sense of expansion, that sense of inclusiveness. So we end our daily practice always and every day in a very holistic way, so that we experience that unity within us. So when you are in that space of unity, the way you perceive the world, the way you respond to the world will be very, very different than when you have a mind that is full of chanchalata, the vrittis are going crazy, and everything around you seems to be absolutely divisive and totally chaotic. So why is it that it is important to have a practice that is so wholesome? Because it's like exercising a muscle. If you do it every single day, little by little, this feeling of unity, this experience of inclusiveness becomes stronger within you. It becomes so strong that every cell in your body is imbued with that frequency. So whatever frequency that's happening in you, whether mentally, physically, physiologically, is what is going to be radiated outside. And if you are focused on experiencing this unity on a daily basis, there is no doubt that you will feel the unity and you will express the unity. So it's a need to understand that you don't have to do complicated things in order to reach here. Just a simple practice, a daily simple practice, 20 minutes, 90 minutes, that's left to you, whatever the timing. It doesn't have to be 90 minutes. In 20 minutes, if that focus, that intensity, that flow is there, then this unity consciousness becomes very, very palpable. So, before we go into the practice that we are going to do, I want to say that it's a very simple practice, because my teacher, Sri Desikachar, always said that minimum effort, maximum effect. I used to wonder why he says that, because he was very clear. When you did minimum things to get what is supposed to be experienced by you, then the ego does not have so much space to play its drama. Otherwise, what happens is, just to please our ego, the mind says, let us do this asana, let us do that asana. It's a little difficult, So, we have this dictum, no pain, no gain. This doesn't work with yoga. We get into all kinds of postures in order to please our ego. We need to ask ourselves, today, at this point in time, when my body is in a specific way, the environment is in a specific way, is this needed? Or is it that with something very simple, I can reach that space of unity? So we are going to do a very simple practice now. And for that, you don't need anything, just your mat. And let's practice aparigraha, just your mat and yourself. Or those of you who can't sit down on the ground, please sit on a chair, but just ensure that your back is straight and your feet are flat on the ground. For those of us who are sitting on the ground, choose an asana of your choice. It could be Sukhasana, Siddhasana. It could be Padmasana. If you're very, very comfortable in Padmasana, please go ahead. Your hand can be in any mudra, or it can just be held open with the palms just facing up or just in front of you. The right palm over the left palm, and just in that space of stillness and quietness. So if you're ready, we can all go into that beginning posture. Now, once you've settled in your beginning posture, we are going to put together the Ashtanga of yoga in this one practice. So if you looked at the Ashtanga of yoga, it started from something outside. Then each step brought us closer and closer and closer into our inner space. So from the outside, it brought in absolutely inclusive, absolutely flowing, and taking us to where we need to go in the experiencing of yoga. Yoga is not something like we do, asanas we do, pranayama you do, But the experience of yoga is a space. It's a space that you inhabit, which is absolutely calm, gathered together. But we need the tools that Patanjali has given us in order to experience that space and be in that space. So keep your hands by your side. Yeah, spine straight, shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes. I'll give you the instructions. They're very simple, so you don't have to open your eyes to see me. Just take a few deep breaths and connect to your breath. Allow your mind to get anchored in your breath. As you inhale, feel the breath going in. And as you exhale, feel the breath exiting your nostrils. When you experience your breath as flowing easily, we will begin the movement. Start your inhalation, and as you start your inhalation, take your arms up from your sides all the way over your head and allow your palms to touch each other while the inhalation is going on. Once the inhalation is finished, pause there for a minute. Allow the body to understand what you're doing. Now start the exhale and allow the hands to open out, stretch, bring it to the ground. Let the exhale finish, pause. Allow the body to feel what this movement and this breathing is. So in this synchronized manner of the breath and the body, let us repeat this movement for 5 more times. So let's begin the inhale, raise the arms up. Pause there once you finish your inhalation. And then exhale, start getting your arms down. Finish your exhale, pause there for a moment. Let's repeat. Inhale, arm raise. Pause. Exhale, bring your arms down. Finish your exhale, pause. We'll repeat 3 more times at your pace with no instructions from me. Go into your breath at your pace, allowing the movement and the breath to synchronize with each other, allowing the mind to get anchored into your breath, so it's inside of you. Exhale. One last time. Let us synchronize our movement with the breath, feeling the beautiful flow happening within us. And exhale. Now, remaining with your eyes closed, take your hand into any mudra of your choice. Otherwise, just place the left hand on your lap and your right palm over your left palm. Let the 2 thumbs touch each other and be in a space of quietness. Now, in this space, just observe your breath as you inhale. Allow the prana to flow into your heart center, your anahata chakra. Pause there. See what the breath is doing to that space in a physical, physiological, and energetic levels. And as you exhale, feel the breath coming out of your nostrils and connecting to the external environment. Let's do this a few times. Inhale into your anahata. Pause. Exhale from your anahata. Let's repeat this 6 more times. Inhale. Remember to pause every time. Exhale. Once more. Inhale. Exhale. All the time keeping your awareness anchored in the heart center. The last 2 times, take a deep inhale, allowing the breath to flow easily inside you and focusing on the heart center. And exhale from the heart center, feeling the breath exiting your nostril. And one last time, inhale into the heart center. Exhale. Remain with your eyes closed and with your awareness, observe the heart center. Just a little svadhyaya. Is it more open? Is it more relaxed? Is there a sense of expansion there? Has something changed from the time you started this practice? Now we will move into the visualization, bringing in the understanding of how the practice can lead us to a deep sense of unity. Just visualize Bhuma Devi as the earth, the globe. Invite it into your heart center. Allow the globe, the earth, to settle in your heart center, the expanded space that you've created. Now observe the sky over the earth, blue, absolutely clear, and maybe some plump, fleecy white clouds floating here and there. Enjoy that sense of expansion that comes into you when you watch the sky. Now bring your awareness from the sky to the earth, into the majestic mountains, snow-capped. The beginning of the mighty rivers as little trickles happening from the glaciers. And watch the water, pristine clear, beautiful, gurgling and laughing and going into the ravines and the crevices and emerging as these mighty rivers that make the ocean. And along the way, see the wonderful verdant forests. The number of species living in the forest, the animals, the birds, the insects, the reptiles, all of them have a right to be on planet Earth, just like we have a right to be here. This earth belongs to all. See the wondrous colors, the flowers. See the butterflies flitting through the flowers. Enjoy that sensation. And look into the waters of the earth, so clear, such shades and hues of blue, aquamarine, stunning in their beauty. Allow yourself to be awed by this vast expanse of the ocean. And know that this ocean has a teeming life, joyous life inside. Perhaps you can see a few dolphins coming up and smiling at you. Smile back. And now hear the laughter of little children. The joyous, gurgling laughter of the river reflected in the children. They're so natural. They're so inclusive. And just visualize children of all hues, all shapes, all sizes, all backgrounds, holding each other's hand and circling the earth with their joy, with their uninhibited love, in their inclusiveness. And feel honored to be part of this circle. See yourself there with them. And see the earth with all its beauty, all its glory, being totally inclusive to every single species that it has birthed. Allow yourself to be in this space of visualization for a few breaths. Wherever your attention, your awareness goes, energy flows. And wherever energy flows, you plant the seeds of manifestation. So allow yourself to feel deeply the visualization that you're holding in your heart center. Feel that Maitreya, feel that Karuna that Patanjali talks about. Feel it unconditionally being given to anyone and everyone, anything and everything that the earth supports. Now very gently let go of the visualization. Allow the glow, Bhuma Devi, to move into the light. And having let go of the visualization, just be in the space of your experience. Feel that sense of quietness, that feeling of centeredness, that feeling of unity within you, and that expansiveness that happened through your visualization. Just feel the experience. And as you're in this space, experiencing your experience, allow the chant to just flow to you, through you, and outside of you. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Continue to remain with your eyes closed. Feel that sense of expansion, that sense of oneness, inclusiveness within you. And with your eyes closed, release your mudra and very gently rub your palms against each other. Continuing to be in the space of ahimsa, nothing sudden, nothing conflicting. Place your palms over your eyes, cup your eyes. And with your eyelids closed, rotate your eyes clockwise 3 times. Come back to center. Rotate your eyes anti-clockwise 3 times. And then open your lids and look into your palms. And when you're ready, just allow your hands to go over your head, the side of your body, towards your knees, towards your feet, with absolute gratitude to the body, to the environment, for allowing you to be able to experience the space of yoga the space of unity. Take a deep breath and exhale through your mouth. One more time, deep breath. Exhale to your mouth and just become aware of your environment, all that is. You're still, you are centered, you're peaceful, and yet you're totally aware of everything that is around you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very beautiful and profound session. What is very interesting is that although this is, it's via technology, via Zoom, that we are all connecting to this community worldwide, the truth of your words and the sound that carried this experience was able to lead us all, transport us all for this short duration into something that is beyond our mundane reality. So thank you very much for uh, opening up this beautiful door, this joyful reality within us. Thank you very much again. So we have some questions. The first, I'll take up the first question because it's something that we had discussed before we came on the session itself. And so it's Durai Rajji who's saying, Namaste. Please share your learning experience from TKV Desikachar sir. So the role of the guru, I think that's the place we connect to this unity somewhere. So how do you, what would you like to share about that experience of yours?
My goodness, that would be another Zoom session. Anyway, I would like to share the one stellar thing about my teacher was his simplicity in the way he lived, in the way he taught. It is only later in life you realize how much your guru has touched you in the way you look at life. He was always someone who was deeply rooted in the tradition, but no jingoism, and very open to modern ways of thinking and understanding, and trying to see how this modernity can look at yoga in all its beauty and purity. He did not do anything to fit yoga to please somebody. No, never. It was always, how can we use something that is different to see the truth and the beauty of what we have in a way that's beneficial to the philosophy as well as to the new look that is being given. Second thing was always this focus on simplicity in action, simplicity in your yoga practice, and this wonderful way of taking us deep in by just connecting the breath to the body movement. The only time it didn't happen was if there was a therapy involved. Sometimes when we opened our body, if there was a problem with the back, you would say, ask them to do on an exhale, not on an inhale. Then we will say, sir, but this is conflicting with what you've told us. He said, no, here the conditions are not normal. So you have to have that sense of ahimsa towards that condition. Accept and honor it in the practice, in whatever you're teaching your student. Also, sir, he was such a busy person, his students, international students, and he was always in this thing to get his father's work, Sri Krishnamacharya's work, out into the world, because he said, I'm dealing with an ocean and I don't know whether I have time to do justice. Because he came in a little late, though he was practicing with his father, he was an engineer, he was working. So it is not as if that he dedicated that part of his life completely into, bringing up his father's work. It is later on, I think, when he had some contact with some, very great minds, that he realized that his father's work needed to be brought out to the world. So he was very busy with that. But he always found time for each one of us to inquire about us, but in a way that was so non-aggressive. He had our well-being at heart. Anytime he looked at us, he would say, Enama, how are you? All well? But he will see that something is not well. And then later on, he will call you to his study and he'll say, anything you want to tell me? Any problem? And then 18 years, 20 years back, right? So this is happening now. And he would give us something. He'd say, okay, your pitta is gone to your head, so do this practice. Do so many rounds of, shikari. So calm down, cool down, quieten. And I also want to tell you this interest in your well-being was so deep without being intrusive. I remember chanting classes were going on and I wanted to learn Rudram so badly. So I told him, sir, I want to join the Rudram class. He said, no, you're not going to learn Rudram. I felt so bad, I cried. He said, no, not only you will not come for Rudram class, you won't be anywhere around where Rudram is being chanted. I was like, no. So anyway, he said, no, you go and learn chanting from Menaka, go and learn Shiksha. I can't tell you how much I tried, but it didn't matter. I went for that class. Much later, he never gives you a reason immediately. He waits for things to marinate. He gives you the space for your own learning to happen. How do you handle this? He waits for it. And then much later, he told me, Ma, already that is sick, so much of pitta, and you're having migraines all the time. Rudram is not for you. So the concern, it is not that yoga is learn anything, learn everything, do everything. No. What is your prakriti? How is it going to affect you? You learn that much. Learn everything philosophically, but as a practice, understand what is good for you. So to that extent, he was such an integral part of our teaching. And I remember when I got married, he was there to bless me. When my first child was born, he came to bless her and he told me, normal delivery, yoga birth, come on, start getting up, move, start doing your pranayama, start this, start that. And here I was thinking I'll get indulged for some time. No way. He was so much part of life, he was so much there, yet not there. And I find this so precious because in today's scenario, where we are seeing teachers, who are projecting themselves, we are hearing so many things that's happening in the yoga space. It is when you look back on your teacher that then you realize, oh my God, I had this precious gem in my life. So the gratitude that flows, overflows, I'm sure wherever he is in the etheric space, he will receive it from every student of his.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing this very personal experience with your teacher. There are some wonderful comments, feedback that is coming in. So we have Krishna Veniji who's saying the session is so divine and blissful. My heartfelt thanks to Madam and to all of us. And then we have Brigadier K. Birendra Singh, who's a very regular participant on our programs. So Sir is saying wonderful session, enthralling, captivating, profound, peaceful, balancing, and all-encompassing. I think that summarizes what everybody has gone through this, who has gone through this session. There is one very interesting remark and question that has come up from our participants, also based on the reality that was happening where you were leading us through this divine experience of inner immersion. And at the same time, there's some construction work that's going around your house and someone is banging away. So a question that was almost preemptive of this situation was, that yoga classes are usually held in a quiet environment.
Yeah.
Especially the practices involving sounds like Brahmari, Om chanting. But it is not always possible to find a quiet place. And this was before it all started. So it's very interesting. So he says, how do we meditate in an environment where there is constant background noise, sound, vibrations? Or should we make an effort to go to a quiet place and sit down to do our practice? Is it okay to use noise cancelling headphones? What will be the effect of the yoga practices in a rainy weather? There are natural sounds of falling rain. What is your advice to deal with this? And can we still try to do the practices involving the sounds like Brahmari, etc.? So I would just like to maybe add another dimension. He has expressed the concerns of quite a few.
Yes, I was concerned.
We're living through a reality So
Yes.
it's very important. I think this question is very important because in this discussion on human unity, it's not just the noise of our senses, but it is also the visual noise, that the incapacity to look beyond differences. So how would you like to address this entire thing and advise our participants?
I thank the person for bringing this up because when I was talking to you all, there is a construction happening at the end of our road, and normally they don't start early, this early. But today, for some reason, and I'm thinking, why is he banging away like this, especially when the instruction is for going deep? Then I remembered something. I said, okay, maybe the divine is sending something like this for this information to go through. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come. It is like this. Our life is never perfect. We can't have all the conditions sanitized for a quiet practice, a deep practice. We have to deal with regular life. So when in a practice, when a noise like this comes, what is it that triggers you? You need to see. It's an irritation because the idea is a yoga practice has to happen silently, quietly, in a place that is so calm, maybe nature, whatever it is. But this noise is telling you life is not like that. So how do you handle it? I have a beautiful instruction on how to handle this by one of my teachers. She said, whenever there is this noise, see what is coming outside. First, it's irritation. She said the irritation comes because something is blocking that noise within you. You are creating a block by your irritation to that noise. Okay, that was the first thing she said. She said, when such noises are happening, visualize yourself as a very porous being with a lot of holes in that wall. And allow the noise to just pass through and go out. When you have that kind of an attitude, there is no resistance inside you to that noise. So it is not the noise per se that is disturbing, it is your resistance to that noise that is disturbing you. So allow that noise to go through. So I have used that, whether somebody is opening a water tap or something is banging in the kitchen or my children are, just at that time they will think of asking me for something. It doesn't matter. It is how you respond to that noise that matters. So see that noise as having a right to be in this world just like you and I have a right to be here. So just allow it to pass through. And as far as headphones and cancelling, a parigraha, no. No headphones, no nothing. This is life. This is how life is going to be. And the yoga space has to be very much part of your life. You can't sanitize something. And if you're going to have a practice that is so sanitized, how are you going to deal with a noisy world outside when you step out? And you're going to face so many things. So yoga has to happen with all these things happening around. If the space is quiet and wonderful, great. If it is not, equally great because it teaches you something and makes something come out of you that you're seeing. And Swadhyaya is happening, you're seeing and saying, okay, this triggers me. Let me see how I handle it. Today it's a noise, tomorrow it'll be somebody shouting back at you. How are you going to respond to that? So I would say, welcome the noise. Don't go and do it in a noisy place deliberately. But if there is sudden noise, and see what happens is when your mind gets irritated, it flies out of pratyahara and grabs that. On the other hand, use that as an opportunity to start going deeper inside. Go with your breath. And when you start going with your breath, no matter what noise happens outside, it really does not matter. It really does not matter.
Wonderful. I think that was a very important tip for our listeners here because we are so often distracted and we become, like you said, sanitized in our yogic mode. That we then are unable to adjust to the noise in every sense around us. So I think that the message of acceptance is something that would be very valuable for all who have heard your beautiful answer. And in relation to that, almost like a sequel to that, we have another question. It says, what's a good way to remind oneself to be a good listener? Sometimes in this nitty-gritty of life, we tend to become listening.
Anuradha, your voice is breaking.
Keep our list. Or So it's saying that in the nitty-gritty of life, how can we become a good listener? How can we remind ourselves to be good listeners and to have better listening?
Yeah. See, when you have a sadhana that helps you to handle the noise of your mind and to go into a space of quietness, when you have a sadhana, daily sadhana, that helps you to touch base with the quietness that is inside you and to listen to what is happening inside you, automatically that plays itself out that whenever you listen to somebody, you just don't hear them. The quietness inside, it will make you listen to them, to take in what they're saying. When is it that we are not able to listen to somebody? When our inner noise is so loud that we're not able to hear what the other person is saying. So my humble request would be to do a daily sadhana that takes you into the space of quietness, takes you into the space of stillness every single day. So that, like I said, it's like working a muscle. Make it become part and parcel of yourself so that becomes your default mode of function. You'll be a great listener.
Very nice. Thank you very much for that valuable guidance. We have Juan Mal, Mexico, who's again another very regular participant. So he's saying, thanks a lot for the beautiful explanation about the journey of the yoga in a few minutes. Could you share what was your most difficult process of these 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga during your personal journey?
My most difficult was pranayama. And I'll share how this was overcome with my teacher. You know, a Rajasic personality, a Pitta body is all the time in action. And I was in sports, I was in dance, I was in theater, I was in this, that, everything under the sun. And here was something that asked me to at least be a little quiet. So I was okay with it as long as it was asana. So I loved doing asana. And then I would tell sir, though of course he was not in the asana class, he was not my teacher. There was two other people who were teaching me. But I would tell them, sir, I don't want pranayama, just give little pranayama, 45 minutes, I should have 3 minutes pranayama, the rest should all be asanas. Okay. So what he would do was, he would make the asana practice 20 minutes, the rest all pranayama. I hated it. Because I just could not sit with my breath. My mind wanted action, but just by making me go deeper and deeper into pranayama, he taught me a great lesson. That there is so much that you can do with yourself when you go with your breath and you go into the inner landscape of deep prajna. There's something that happens that's much more rewarding than all the complicated asanas can give. So pranayama was the most difficult for me, and I got great gratitude to the teacher for being a tough teacher at that point in time. I hated it, but he told me stay with it. I hated not being taught Rudram, but he said no. This whole thing of the welfare of the student, what is best for them, what is best for their growth, was what was so unique to him, and I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you again. So there was another thought that I had personally, and I was wondering how we can maybe make the practice that you taught us a more constant part of our lives. So it's true that, when you're on a mat and we are sitting in this kind of a meditative posture, we are doing the visualization, we experience these beautiful moments that have been acknowledged by so many of our participants. But the point is, the moment we step out of the mat, we get back into the noise. So how would you recommend that the people who are genuine seekers and are trying to connect to the world outside in a truer way, what can we do to sustain the practice beyond the mat?
Okay, there are two aspects to this. One, your daily sadhana, which includes all this so that you are experiencing that sense of oneness and unity at all times, every single day. But that will become the bedrock of your cellular memory, okay? That will be there. But when you step out, sometimes we forget all the cellular memory. When we step out and we have to deal with the noise of the world, I think the greatest thing that we can do is whenever we are challenged by something, go to your breath. Your breath is your guru. Connect to your breath immediately. See what is happening to your breath. And the minute you focus on the breath, there's a change in the breath. And why the breath? Why should I not look at something, or why should I not think of God or chant or say some prayers? Breath, simply because breath is an external extension of the mind. It tells you what is happening. But the beauty of the breath is that through the breath, you can affect the nature of the mind. So the minute I look at my breath, that's why we are told when angry, take 3 deep breaths. Why? Because to cut that circuit, that loop that anger gets you to, just the breath. So as far as possible, become very, very, very intimate with your breath. So whenever you need it, it is there. It helps you. Just that breath. Breath awareness in any kind of offensive situation. Because when you're with the breath, you're not reacting to what is happening to you. You've already gone in. You may be there, but you've gone in. And because you've gone in, that little window of time is available to you to respond rather than react. So that is so important. That brings in the maturity of the practitioner.
So we have Tarakini ji, who was there yesterday with us leading.
Tara.
And she told me that she's also your student, and so she's saying that she really enjoyed this tip that you said of connecting with the breath, and how vital that simple connection is to ensure our wellness and well-being. Would you like to maybe give a small practice of how we can, what kind of breath practice can we do to keep that connection? So maybe a more practical suggestion on that.
Okay, now that depends on your circumstance, where you are. Now, if you're in a group, in a milieu, and something is happening which is really annoying and which is, triggering you, it is just taking your awareness to the breath. There's nothing you can do. Just allow the breath to become deep and slow. But at the same time, you are aware of everything around you. This I'm talking in the space of what is happening. But if you just suppose you've had a flare-up at home, husbands, children, whatever, and you have a space to go to that space. And I find Brahmari very, very, very useful. Something about that humming just not only relaxes you, something in your heart, you let go of that anger and that whatever the person triggered in you, just Brahmari sound. I've always found Brahmari to be very helpful. So I go to one place, sit down, and I do a few rounds of Brahmari. And then I'm in a better space to come back to that space. And I don't know whether, it is because it's a heart and the heart is relaxed, so, your energy body also relaxes. Somehow it affects the person who you had that fight with, because when you come out of the room and you're okay, they're also a little okay. They may come and apologize to you. So Brahmari, for me, Brahmari works. It's not necessary Brahmari should work for everybody. For some people, Shitali may work. For some people, Nadi Shodhana may work. Whatever it is, if you get the chance during that time to go and sit by yourself, just do whatever brings calmness.
Thank you. Could you give us a small demo of the Brahmari that you would do? Just because there might be some people in our audience who's not necessarily so familiar with the practice.
So this Brahmari practice is where you don't use the mudra, okay? There is no usage of the mudra, it's just you. Just place your left hand over your heart center and the right, as if you're just holding yourself. You're holding the fact that, yes, I am triggered, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling angry, I accept it. So I'm going to do something about it. So you do that. And then just take a deep breath, feel the breath going into your heart. And from there, when you hum, feel that energy just dissipating and then become so beautifully transformative. So just few breaths. Take a deep breath. Just that very frequency of the Brahmari sound just takes you in, connects to your heart. It's so important to connect to your heart. Remember that Maitreya and the Karuna that we were talking about. I feel it gets automatically activated by Brahmari. So just something simple is more than enough. And that's all we have time for in this chaotic, mad life that we're leading. These are all little pick-up points to help us to handle our life better, to move smoother. Not that we will not have problems, but we'll handle it better.
I think that was a very important idea that you suggested, that the reassurance that you gave us that, it's not that the problems will cease, but through these practices, we will be better equipped to handle them more effectively. And there's a lot of love and greetings coming in from different parts of the world. So we have from a lot of your students, I believe, are joining us. So we have Roshni ji, who is saying that thank you very much for sharing your beautiful space and energy with all of us. What motivates you to continue with your practice when you lose your motivation? This was also a question that was asked by Shashank ji, that how do you keep your motivation going?
See, it's like this. When you've tasted that wholesome unity, it is so beautiful that the need to taste it every single day, for me, is the motivation. Because not only is it a taste of that unity, I know if I'm in that space, it helps me to deal with myself, my inner space, and the chaos sometimes that happens there, and the outside world in a much better way. So why would I not do it? When it is available, I don't need to go to a therapist, I don't need to go to a doctor. If I can use this to handle my life. Yes, if there is a problem that's beyond me and I need to ask professional help, go. But when this taste has happened, and that feeling of expansion and oneness and that unity and inclusiveness happens in you, that just takes every single day that takes you.
Rita ji again is saying that thank you very much for emphasizing the simplicity of the practice of yoga and connecting with our being, and pranams to you. So, like I said, there are questions, but also in the interest of time, one thing that many of them want to know is how can they reach out to you? How can they connect with your work? Do you have videos? Do you do online classes? How can people connect with you? Because many have enjoyed your very beautiful presence as well. So how could people benefit from it much more?
Rather, to be very honest with you, I'm a terribly technology challenged person. Okay? All my friends and students know it, so I don't have anything on video, nothing. If somebody tells me also, can I take a video? I'll say, no, then I can't talk, or whatever it is. Okay, so it's never, for me, it's always people, reaching out to people in real life. But I understand now, with the corona, something in me is getting changed. I'm being forced to think otherwise. Because just because I can't meet my students doesn't mean I cannot be available to them. So I overcame this a little bit by becoming a storyteller. So I became a little acquainted with Zoom, and I got acquainted with the fact that it's okay if they're not there in real life. I can see them like I can see you. I can connect to you. Why must I allow this laptop to be a barrier? So that is happening now. It'll take a little time, okay? Otherwise, the only thing I have is I have a Facebook page, an Instagram page where I hardly go. Sometimes I go, I post something, if I find something beautiful, and my mail. I'm a little away from social media. Of course, I am active on Facebook now with the Yo Indica and so many other things happening. But social media, not so much, but yes, I can learn to learn, okay, and change. That's a part of beauty.
Would you like to share your mail ID?
Yes, definitely.
Questions, like because of the shortage of time, I've not been able to take on many questions that are here. But if somebody wants to reach out to you and have some doubts clarified, then how could they do so? So if you'd like to share your email ID, maybe.
Yes. So the mail ID is Rahi, R-A-H-I, Santhanam, T-H-A-N-A-M, Santhanam, at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. All right. Wonderful. I'll share that. Rahi.santhanam at gmail.com. Wonderful. And we have Shankarji who's telling us that your Facebook page is locked for some reason.
I'll have to find out what. I'll check out. Maybe because
It means that people are already looking out for you. So
So I need to unlock it. I'll ask my daughter to help me, definitely, to check what is happening there. Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. So then we've got people who are asking you some a more technical question. Somebody appreciated the kosher thing that you have behind you and said, "Is there a reference?" This is Jay Prakash ji from Sydney. He's saying, he was attracted by that. So would you tell, give the source of that?
So it is just that when students come, it's a reminder that we are not just our body. We are not just Annamaya Kosha. We have something much more to us. Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. And the yoga practice has to be such that it touches all these koshas every single day. So it is just a reminder, and sometimes I take it when I do my workshops on chakras, etc., so that that the visual connect is there for people. So it is just a reminder, even to myself, that I am not my body, I'm just much more. And just I take care of my physical body, I need to take care of my other bodies also on a daily basis. And yoga is a great way to do it.
Wonderful. And I think that this other body also, the subtler we get, the more inclusive it becomes of everything around us.
Absolutely.
And, your beautiful session gave us a very concrete taste of the subtle connection that we share with everything and everybody around us, not just human beings, but you also included the non-human species and everything. So this is a very beautiful, I would say, the lighting of a lamp for the rest of the day, where we will get more illuminated by in the same flow of our oneness, our unity. So thank you very much for accepting to light that flame inside us. I would just like to make the announcements for the rest of the day, and I will come back to you for a message.
Okay.
So Srinivas, if you could kindly put up the poster. So to dive deeper into this theme of human unity, we have a session in the afternoon. It'll be a talk by Srimati Soumya Iyer, and the theme is giving wellness to the world's vulnerable through yoga. This is not just about seeing how yoga can help the differently abled people, but it's about all different kinds of vulnerable communities, which includes migrants, which includes different populations, the more discriminated populations and all of that. So how can this practice of yoga help them overcome, let's say, the treatment that they experience and find their own space and then connect more harmoniously with the spaces around? So Soumyaji is the executive director of the Prafulla Urja Charitable Foundation. So she has been a host on this session. So now she will be a speaker. So we'll allow ourselves to go through that understanding as well, the broadening of our understanding of these different sections of our society that we need to pay attention to. In the evening, we have another fabulous session. It's being collaborated with the session is being done in collaboration with the GPIW, which is the Global Peace Initiative of Women. And this is going to be a dialogue on yoga and human unity. I would just like to mention here that we have planned at least 4 dialogues in the next in the coming weeks that are there. So the first one is going to be on yoga and human unity. The second one will be on yoga and mystical traditions. The third one, that will be on Sunday. The next one will be next Wednesday. It will be on yoga and dharma, the concepts of dharma in economics, something that plays such an important role. So how can we use yoga and dharma there? And finally, there will be one on yoga and environment and the environment, which is again something that ties into what Rahiji was trying to give us an experience of, a direct experience of. So this will be led by the dialogue today will be led by Reverend Diane Burke, Swamini Pramananda, yes, Pramananda, and then we have Professor Suhail Umar from Punjab, Juan Pablo Restrepo from Argentina, and Father Michael Holleran from the USA. So please join these sessions with us and allow yourselves to go deeper into this understanding of unity. So Suhailji was from Pakistan. We really try to bring all different, unite people even literally from different parts of the globe. So moving on to Rahiji again. So Rahiji, if you would like to give us a message of yours, so we can take down the poster and we'd just like to listen to Rahiji. Yes. What is your message?
The message really would be have a consistent sadhana practice that will help you to experience the whole aspect, the ashtanga of yoga. And not just focus on one limb, asana, 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 because that will not give you the beauty that yoga is. And also, frankly, when you're going to spend 1 hour on the mat, why don't you utilize that 1 hour to the maximum effect? Why do you stop with one limb? Exercise all the 8 limbs so that you feel that unity. And when you feel that unity, the way you will see the world, the doors of perception will open and the vista is completely different. And that will help you see the human being, the other beings as part of a huge family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbaka is a reality if you are able to make a practice in a wholesome way. And also I'd like to say one thing more. I wish the youngsters who are on the, come on, will make the effort to try and delve into the different aspects of Sanatan Dharma. We have a treasure trove with us. And, people have this feeling, oh, it is illogical, it is this, but all of you sitting here in the panel especially, you know the logic, the vigorous scientific temperament, and the spirituality that is there. It is something that our children need to know. They need to delve. I will request definitely, of course, the material to be available and for them to accept, come forward and understand this part of our culture. And it is beyond isms. It is for mankind. So it is something we should not balk at, approaching. And the third thing, this is not a message, it's a request. Third thing is, I wish the Sanskrit language will be made available in a manner that every one of us can learn, because as a psychologist, I understand the way the brain is wired by language makes you see and experience the world completely differently. And I think the little bit of Sanskritam that I know, thank you, Anuradha, Vinaya, little bit that I know, the minute you take that language in and you're doing your chanting, there's something happening inside you. Something happening, and if I can feel it with that little bit, I can just imagine people who are constantly conversing in that language. So if all this can be, utilized, it is such a treasure just lying like, dust on the ground, gems there. So we can utilize it, it will be so wonderful. And I want to take the occasion to thank Indica Yoga. You are doing a tremendous job, and all my blessings that things till July 20th goes beautifully. And I'm your most ardent participant. I try not to miss a single session if I can. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Your conviction is truly infectious and extremely enthusing and encouraging. We have Taraji again, who's a big fan of yours, and she's highly recommended.
Wonderful person.
Go to your beautiful yoga room, and which is a real treat. So I think those who have heard you, and if they're in Bangalore, will find you and try and reach out to you. So, and my personal gratitude for drawing importance or for bringing people's attention on the importance of Sanskrit, because like you said, that it's very important to understand how language plays a critical role in shaping worldviews. So I will be doing a session on this in the last week, and I invite everybody to join that one. But I would also just like to add that this experience of unity that you have tried to bring to us is something that has touched many people far and wide in the world. And the Indian culture, especially, has helped people connect to that through different kinds of techniques and methods. So we will have with us on Saturday, we have a very special Kirtan session by none other than Krishna Das himself. Krishna Das is a no-name, a big bhakta of Neem Karoli Baba, a big bhakta of Hanumanji. So thanks to Global Peace Initiative of Women, he has very graciously accepted to be part of this collective aspiration. So please join that session on Saturday evening. I mean, join us on every session because we are bringing you gems, very selected gems. They are from all age groups, all backgrounds. But what we are trying to really share with you is the motto of Indica Yoga, which is about helping you connect to authentic, immersive, and transformative experiences. So the last request to all of you, which I had mentioned earlier on also, that can you try and not just take these teachings as something that you've learned and then it gets left on and then you take it up again when you listen to another lecture. I would really invite you to try and implement some of this. Take up any one practice. Take up this practice of visualization of oneness. Take it up for yourself. Try it for a week regularly and then share with us what happens as a consequence. Even the smallest journey, smallest step on this journey is always hugely rewarding. So please undertake this journey and share with us the beautiful milestones that you experience. And that will be another encouragement for others to continue as well. So Rahiji's lecture and many others will be available on indicayoga.com, Indica Yoga YouTube channel, and on Indica Yoga Facebook page. So if you've missed any part of this, try to reconnect to it and positively engage in touching your deeper reality. Rahiji, thank you very much. We are absolutely, we are very, very grateful that at very short notice you accepted this invitation and made such a beautiful difference to all those who have attended our session today. So thank you very much. Look forward to being in touch. Our heartfelt pranams to you.
Thank you, Anuradha. I can't refuse.
Thank you. And thank you for being a wonderful audience. Do stay in touch with us for the afternoon and evening sessions. So we'll put up the poster for the next session and we'll end.